You know what changes? Everything. Times change. Technology changes. People change. Sometimes it seems overnight. You can resist it. You can adapt to it. But you can't ignore it. Our thinking is to lead it by changing the way we work, changing the way expectations are met, leading clients and the practice of law forward. You know what that changes? Everything.
Welcome to Atlantic Business Magazine's Take 5 of the Top 50 video series. I'm Dawn Chafe, Executive Editor of Atlantic Business Magazine. Today I'm joined by first-time Top 50 CEO Award winner Amit Virmani, the founder and CEO of Navico Power Inc., based in Fredericton, New Brunswick. As far back as 2016, Amit saw the potential for clean, affordable, renewable energy. 4 years later, he and his team own and operate a $40 million wind farm. It is the first locally owned utility-scale project in New Brunswick. His goal is to be Atlantic Canada's next billion-dollar company. Welcome, Amit. So happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Dawn.
Excellent. So we're just going to launch right into the questions. This is going to be painless but fun. Delighted to learn more about you.
It's not. It's actually my third. So I started off when I was probably about yay high, and that was selling lipstick way back in the day as an Avon guy. And then from there, went over into high school and university, started a photography business, did a lot of boutique weddings, some commercial trade print photography, and then finally ended up coming back home about 6 years ago, you could say, and started off Navico a year after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is now on to venture number 3, but you learn from each one how to get better, how to grow, how to work with a team. You learn your strengths and weaknesses, so it's been definitely a great learning experience. You are going to fail. There's no question about it. You will fail. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. You have to be prepared for that failure, and you have to be able to learn from it to be able to grow and keep going forward. So not everything that you're going to try is going to pan out, but you got to keep trying over and over and over and over again for something to stick. And every great entrepreneur that you hear about, very few were successful off either their first venture or their first business idea within that venture. They kept iterating on the product, whatever they were working on or the service. They kept looking at ways to improve it. So you must be able to willing to embrace a certain level of failure and be able to learn those lessons and grow from it. You could say, because you're a little crazy and you think you can change the world, right? So that'd be a good place to start. I felt there was a need that could be filled here in Atlantic Canada, and that could be grown out to other broader areas of the world. And that was with providing innovation with respect to having secure, reliable, clean, as well as cheap form of electricity. And that's something that we felt we could work on. Yes, you're right. We're dealing with where there's an inherent monopoly, especially here in New Brunswick and in a number of other provinces. But that's not to say there aren't spaces to innovate, to work with, or to work around what currently exists as present infrastructure. It's not a matter of where you're dicing up a pie and it's a matter of winner take all, or if you're growing, somebody else is losing. There is opportunity in this industry to grow and to do so in a manner that everybody wins out of it.
Interesting.
Goodness, we faced a number of different challenges. You always have to zig and you zag over the last, now coming up on 5 years. I'd say everyone's going to face financing at some point or another, so that's definitely a challenge, all entrepreneurs can speak of. I found the biggest challenges to be related to HR and related to sales. So it's a matter of finding a great team and building a great team around you that supports yourself as well as the vision of the whole company. It's a matter of having a team that's willing to continuously learn and improve. So that's what I've done is that everyone that I've chosen who is part of our team, they have that learning and growing type of mindset, always looking to improve. And we're always investing in each individual in terms of education. speaking of, that was on the HR side, and going more over towards sales. It's always difficult to get your first few sales, to prove that track record, right? So it's always that little by little, finding your first, you could say 5 customers, which builds up that social proof, allowing you to keep growing. That's the difficult part. So we've spent a lot of time working on what our pitch is to different types of clients, because we're dealing with some that are at the utility scale, dealing with, the NB Powers or the Ameris of the world. And then we also have some interest in solar, which we're starting to expand into. And that's more targeted to small business owners, to industrial facilities, to warehouses. And it's a different type of sale. It's a different type of need that you're trying to fill. So you have to work continuously on finding out what is your customer's needs and how you can best fit it to ensure that you're helping them with something that's urgent and meaningful to them, that will definitely help improve their business. Yes, it can survive the transition. And yes, there's a lot of money to be made here, which is why even oil companies are getting on board. I think it was something in the last 2 to 3 months, there was recently an article came out talking about the market capitalization of NextEra has now exceeded the largest oil company in the world, Exxon. Or one of the very largest, I should say, oil producers in the world. So it's no longer a case of where oil and gas is considered to be a very large market cap type of industry, even with their individual companies. Renewables is starting to take over in that space. Energy is an inelastic good that is always going to be necessary. We're discussing the innovation of how that is produced and provided to the end client. Yes, there's going to be disruption. Yes, there's going to be some changes in happening in terms of the type of work that happens, but that's not to say that new opportunities won't be found. We saw this happen as society moved through each version of a revolution, be it from agrarian to industrial to digital, and now from digital into the information age where it's about data. And every time there has been change. So at a time, we had someone delivering milk to our door. Now we go to a supermarket. At a time, we had to wash dishes at home and wash, our clothes by hand. Now we have machines that can help with that. So these technological improvements, and the same is going to happen when it comes to, with respect to the electricity industry, allow for us to have a higher and better use of our time, to have a higher and better use of what we're producing as goods and services. So similarly enough, it's not so much a total loss of jobs, it's going to be a reallocation of jobs as far as I see it. Skill sets will continuously be used. It just may not be very much in the same job profile that was previously there. That may shift slightly, but there will always be work that humans will interact with.